CPL is one of the largest disability organisations in Queensland, and we also provide services in New South Wales. We have a range of clients that we support, from people with traditional cerebral palsy right through to acquired brain injury and other types of disabilities. We engaged Henry Reid because keeping our frontline staff is really important to CPL. That provides a consistent approach to our service delivery, particularly to clients, and retaining them is something that we really want to try and understand how we can do that and how best go about that approach.
The really important piece of work for this project was testing our assumptions, understanding directly from various groups of employees about the life cycle, what matters to them, and really focusing on getting to that source of truth.
I think for us to really understand what motivates people to join CPL, so what's the value proposition that CPL is offering, and that was across 4 or 5 targeted cohorts within our workforce. Well, at a project like this, I think it's critical to get a whole range of stakeholders involved. So working with Henry Reid, we identified stakeholders from right across the organisations. So we really made an effort to get everyone involved, because obviously projects like this are only as useful as they're used. And so it was important for us to make that connection with our stakeholders right at the beginning of this project.
These personas and artefacts will really assist with our ability to attract, and then what we need to retain those people.
We've taken the information we've got and seeing how we can integrate it into our future workforce strategies. Knowledge like this needs to be integrated into your ecosystem and the way you behave as an organisation.
I attended a number of the workshops here at head office. It was great to interact with the Henry Reid team. They understand how to get information out of a diverse group of people, so I was really thrilled about that.
My key takeaways have been that I felt really heard on the project, which has been really wonderful. I've noticed a change already in how the senior management is communicating with us and the language they're using.
The artefacts that were created were really great jumping off points. I incorporated them in a lot of conversations that I was having with internal stakeholders, and also considering them when we're thinking about potential initiatives for employee groups.
One of the learnings was that we had a better understanding of ourselves than I thought we would, and I think the way the information was delivered back to us as participants, whether that was through slides or the mapping or the beautiful diagrams that were done, there was a way to receive that information appropriate for everybody involved.
Well, it's allowed us to connect with a number of people that we wouldn't have normally connected with.
So I think that because we've been focusing on our journey of a staff member, I think that it's really important to know where our choke points are. It's really important to understand where we do well as well.
It's also allowed me to understand a little bit more about which of my assumptions about my team are valid and which ones maybe not so, and my thinking has been challenged a little bit about what's driving some of our team members.
The most enjoyable component of working with Henry Reid was really how they adapted and were really fluid with changes that we needed to make in terms of the sessions themselves or the communication styles from within the project contributor group. With all those changes that came into place, I always felt that those changes were Henry Reid thinking about how we're going to get the best outcome for our employees.
I think it was a great way to mentally go through and deep dive into the different personas of some of the staff that we have in our teams.
The way that the workshops are structured, the way that conversation is encouraged, you very much feel heard. You are listened to without judgment and without feeling like you need to filter yourself. Henry Reid is very much paying attention and trying to really understand what is being said and what's meant, rather than just taking the words at face value.
Some of the assumptions that we had about our employees were, as Henry Reid would say, myth busted as they went through the process. So there were some quite large assumptions about our employees that we were all carrying, but through the interview process we identified that they actually weren't the case.
I feel amazing that this organisation will invest in understanding who we are to enable us to move forwards into what we can be, and that we best support each of our employees under whatever persona or whatever section they're in, and assist them to go forwards.
The work with Henry Reid helped us to confirm things that we already knew about our employees, but it's really easy for an organisation to overlook them. An example of that would be role clarity. That was something that really came out very clearly in terms of the work with Henry Reid, that our people are asking for that.
This work is incredibly valuable and important. It gives us a lot of insights. We have a long road ahead. The work has commenced. It's now embedding that and continuing that conversation.
At the beginning of projects like this, you kind of have an idea about what you want to get out of it and how you'll go about it. And it was good to work with an organisation that was happy to change that approach and to change the perceptions that we may have had at the very beginning of the project. It was a good, strong working relationship, and it's always pleasing to work with an organisation that is able to adapt and change as new information comes to light and other business challenges present themselves.